2:30 a.m. right now, and guess what? The NBA is back. The NBA is back. The NBA is back. You see this guy right here? MVP? He's back. You see this guy? Former MVP? He's back.
After 149 days, the NBA Lockout is over. What's going on, Laker fans? This is Voice of the Nation Fastbreak. My name is David Brickley, alongside Kevin Figures. Hallelujah. We're going to play some basketball on Christmas Day. You're going to wake up. You're going to have a triple header for your present right there starting off in the morning on Christmas Day.
Considering a text message I got on Friday night, early Saturday morning, I could have swore it was Christmas weekend, not Thanksgiving weekend. A good friend of mine, Mr. David Brickley, sends me a text message at about 2:15 in the morning, Wake up. It's the lockout is over. You have to get up and jump in the streets and throw your shirt off or run around and scream wild. It's like, come on. Like, hold on. Like, hold your horses.
Why you're like a negative Nancy, dude. Like, I don't understand why you're not happy. This is a good thing for you and I. This is a good thing for Laker fans. This is a good thing for everybody. How is this not a good thing?
I'm just saying
this
that
doesn't hurt anybody.
I'm just saying it hasn't. Everything's not official yet. The players still have to recertify, and we have to get things done. They still haven't signed off completely yet on certain provisions in the CBA.
So you're a guy that liked the terms like BRI, CBA, litigation, the certification. I don't want to hear that crap anymore. I want to hear, Kobe dropping 40. I want to see Blake Griffin dunking on guys. This is what I want.
Well, the problem is, Dave, we can't get there until we get that litigation and the BRI and that stuff settled.
Right. Stop talking. No, but how did this lockout affect the Lakers? Because now we're going into a 66-game season starting on Christmas. It's going to be 48 conference games down to 52 from last season, 18 out-of-conference games. But does this help a veteran team? They don't have to go full 82, or does it hurt because you got a new coach in Mike Brown?
That's an intriguing question. You just brought up the new coach in Mike Brown. You would think a veteran team that's been together as long as these guys have, it wouldn't affect them all that much. You can even argue maybe it helped them. You got older guys like Derek Fisher, like Kobe Bryant, even though he had that, the surgery or the procedure this past offseason, and he says his knee is as strong as it's ever been. To give these guys as much rest as possible. When you're coming in with a new coach, a whole new coaching staff, there's pretty much nobody left from that staff, and a whole new offensive system, a whole new defensive system.
You know what's funny? I think the lockout has kind of tamed down Laker fans because remember how pissed off everybody was about obviously how it ended. Mm-hmm. The Lakers were not athletic. Their bench didn't show up. Derek Fisher and the whole point guard situation was a total mess. And all these things were coming to a head, and everybody's mad at the Jim Buss era, because how he treated Phil Jackson and Brian Shaw, and all that stuff kind of got pushed down. And Laker fans and NBA fans, we just want the season to start.
Right.
But all this stuff is still now coming back up, and what do the Lakers need to do now to get back to that championship level? And there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Whole lot of questions, Marsh. You brought up the point guard position. They brought in Steve Blake last year to be a spark off the bench. He didn't really come through that way, although I still have confidence in the guy. I think he had a bad year. I think he can bounce back.
But he proved nothing that he's going to be a starter on this team and take the keys to the starting role.
But, if they have no other options, though.
Well, there's going to be other options.
Who knows? And the way the CBA is drawn up, and I don't want to get to the technicalities of the entire thing, but from a money situation, teams like the Lakers, like the Knicks, who are a lot into the luxury tax, won't have the kind of opportunities to bring in impact players in free agency like they have been in the past.
Well, they will, but they just have to pay a lot of luxury tax.
Well, like I said, without getting technical with you.
They have to figure out the point guard situation because Derek Fisher, he's 37 years old. Thanks for getting the deal done, but you're not a starting point guard anymore. I'm sorry. So bring a guy in, maybe like an Aaron Brooks as a restricted free agent. Even like a J.J. Barea, Marcus Banks, someone that is a little more athletic, a little younger. You don't need somebody to go out there and drop 20. You don't need Chris Paul, but you need somebody that's more efficient than Derek Fisher.
Oh, I don't disagree with you on that. They definitely need to upgrade the point guard position. And maybe a couple of years down the road, the rookie point guard, Darius Morris, who we talked to a couple of months ago, maybe he's that answer. Right. This year, I don't believe so. And as I was mentioning with the CBA, they still have the middle-level exception which they can use, but because they're one of those teams that's more than $4 million over the luxury tax, they have less money to spend in that mid-level exception than other teams would. So that's going to hurt them in free agency, and other teams that are over the cap like they are.
Now, Kobe Bryant, the speculation obviously is he's getting older. He had even though he averaged 25 points in 33 minutes last year, that he had an off year. He was banged up. I think this lockout kind of helped him because he has that knee procedure, that PRP, injecting stem cells over there in Germany. And Fisher, and we've seen him play in the Drew League and all the international competitions. He looks like he has that step back that he lost last season.
Looks like it again. Again, not the greatest competition or like series. This is NBA basketball. He's playing against these in a rec league basically. He's playing against NBA talent.
I'm not saying his first step or blowing past some no name. I'm talking about he was throwing it down. He wouldn't even attempt to dunk last season. It seemed like, and during the offseason, he was getting up.
And some of that may have been because
and again,
he was
you're negative
saving
Nancy,
himself.
and the glass is
I
only
think
half.
probably he was probably saving
empty.
himself last. He probably could have if he wanted to, but he knew for the better of the team, it's probably best that I not come up and try to hammer it down. Let me just go in and lay it in. One of those type of things.
Pessimistic, optimistic.
Just call it like I see it.
How serious is this Mike Brown thing going to be? Because it's going to be hard for him in a 2-week, training camp period to install this defensive mindset, this offensive principles that he's trying to go. I mean, he wants to install that San Antonio Spurs, David Robinson, Tim Duncan offense where you get the ball down low more. But when the season starts right away, you might have to maybe ride Kobe and have him carry you for a few games. I don't know how that's all going to work out.
The good thing is that you do have guys like two of your most important calls, Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol, have been in the league a long time.
That's another question.
They've run a lot of offensive sets. They know their way around the basketball floor. You have younger guys, maybe like Andrew Bynum, who may need a little bit more seasoning because you forget Phil Jackson's pretty much the only coach he's ever played for in the NBA. So this is going to be a completely different system for him. But for a guy like Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol who've been around the block, who've played in pretty much any offense you can think of, the learning curve is probably not going to be as much on them.
That's something I'm intrigued to see as well as Pau Gasol. I mean, the guy was a shell of his former self. We never really got the details, but I guess he had some personal girlfriend issues. And mentally, he was a slug in the playoffs. He was terrible. And Kwame Brown-esque.
I wouldn't go that far. That's not. Come on, Dave. I'm not going to let you go that Kwame Brown-esque.
If you look at the stats that Pau Gasol posted last season and what Kwame Brown did in 06, it's pretty much the same darn thing. So Pau Gasol.
I got to research that one.
I have researched. It's true. Pau Gasol has to come back and prove something that he is a top 10 player, one of the best big men in the league.
Yeah, and especially in the postseason. I mean, we all expect Pau to come back and have a good regular season. He has ever since he's been here, ever since he's been in the NBA. The one knock on him, even in the playoffs when he was with the Grizzlies, he had struggles in the postseason. He came here with the Lakers his first couple of playoffs, led them to the finals, helped lead them to a championship. And last year, like you said, for whatever reason, just did not perform up to his standards. So it's going to be important to him. It's a shortened season this year. Hopefully he comes back hungry and wants to prove that he's, not washed up or whatever those personal issues are behind him, and that he can be an effective player again in the playoffs.
So to wrap, and obviously we're going to be diving into all the free agent news and how that's going to open on December 9th and all the different options. Even, there's reports of the LA Times. The Lakers are curious to see what happens with Baron Davis and Rashard Lewis, see if those guys will get cut, possibly bring them in. There's a lot of speculation out there. But at the end of the day, a 66-game schedule. You saw what happened last year in the second round against the Dallas Mavericks. A lot of people will argue that the Bulls, the Thunder, the Mavs, the Heat, these are all better, younger, improving teams, and the Lakers and Celtics maybe are on their way out. Do you think this 66-game season helps or hurts the Lakers more?
I think it helps them because of the age factor, because they're a much older team, and like you just mentioned, them and the Celtics, veteran teams with.
And I agree with you, but I think if they had Phil Jackson, I think I'd even feel more.
Sure, absolutely,
and not just because he's the best coach of all time, but there would be
no familiarity.
Exactly,
with
and you have the same offense, and let's just go to work and let's inject a few more pieces. But now you have a veteran team that should play well. Yet let's screw everything up and mess the offense up in defense.
And let's not. I mean, Mike Brown, he's smarter than I think a lot of people give him credit for. Everybody says like, oh, he's a horrible hire, this and that. He did win in Cleveland of all places. And let's keep. He's a smart guy. He's going to come in and say, look, I'm not going to come and make wholesale changes in a 2-week training camp before we get a chance to start the season.
All right, so it's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be like the NFL. It's going to be December 9th, and it's going to be a whole lot of free agent news, and people are going to be switching teams. It's going to be a circus, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be chaos, but it's going to be fun to cover. And, all of our viewers out there on YouTube and LakerNation.com, it's going to be a fun ride. So are you ready? Or would you rather be talking about the CBA and the BRI split?
I'm ready to go. I just said people just need to hold the horses a little bit. We're all excited that the NBA season is going to come on December 9th. I just want to know what the specifics are of everything else coming out. That's all. I want to see everything in stone, written down on paper.
I really did realize, and you pointed it out, how much of an NBA fan I really am. I mean, I enjoy covering it, but I didn't realize that I had, like you said, the childlike enthusiasm when the season started. I was refreshing my damn Twitter line every 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden I get 30 tweets. I'm like, this may be it. It was like opening up a present. This may be the one. And then, of course, and shout out to all those guys like Howard Beck and Ken Berg and all those guys that covered it and stayed in those 15-hour marathon. Ugh.
Went to the press conference at,
finally they get to do their job.
3 in the morning, East Coast
the actual league, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so and I think it's good. It's refreshing to have guys who are that enthusiastic about having the league start back again. I'm excited too. You know, I might express it in a different way, but I'm excited that the league is coming back too. And a lot of fans are as well. So that's good that the NBA, we're going to have a season. That's one thing we know for sure.
All right, so we'll ask our audience out there, we'll ask you, do you think that the 66-game reduced schedule will help or hurt the Lakers as they are a veteran ball club and they try to go back to the championship round with Mike Brown? That'd be fun. Kevin Figures, Dave Brickley, voice of the nation, Fastbreak.